Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Stuck in the Middle Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Uncle AK.
And I'm Reflex. Thank you for checking in, man. Listen, bruh, this is one of those times when, as an African parent, you just shake your head when your kid walk in the crib. It's like, yo, I'm about to be a comedian. This is Stuck in the Middle Podcast. We got a special guest in the building. That was a little intro. We're going to introduce him better in a minute. After I tell you that this podcast is sponsored by Perfect Office Solution, providing office space for entrepreneurs in the DMV area. So if you hit them, you get 10% off. You use promo code SITM Podcast. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man.
You can stream this podcast on Spotify, iTunes Podcast. Everywhere. You stream music. You can stream this podcast. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/SITM Podcast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. For weekly updates on the show.
Yeah.
The email is sitmpodcast237@gmail.com. Hit us up for, guest referrals, comments, what have you. But yeah, we got a special guest in the building, man. Reflex, you want to do us the honors?
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm excited for this, bro. We have a comedian, producer, selfie-made billionaire, and a bacon enthusiast. Please welcome Tommy Taylor Jr., the Stuck in the Middle Podcast, bro. How you feeling, man?
What up?
I'm digging the overall cut, though, man. Like,
I appreciate it, man.
how you just gonna come swagging us like that, bro? Like, come on,
drip
man.
a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? Drip. Gunna got that Drip album out. What does Drip mean, to be honest? Like, what does Drip mean to you, personally?
This means bring what you got.
Yeah.
What you God gave us all a little drip. We gotta let it.
Yeah, man.
Gotta let it drizzle.
Is Drip different from style?
We're doing a
Just
definition class in the Urban Dictionary. No, I don't know. I think drip is just showing your inner swag or whatever.
Yeah, man.
Your inner style or whatever.
Creativity.
Whatever it means to you personally. I think it probably means different things to different people.
yeah, definitely.
Facts.
I just had to break the ice real quick.
Now I want to start it off like this though. Before we get to know who Tom is, being that you're a comedian, right? I feel like we live in sensitive times. Sensitive in the sense that you can't really express yourself. How you truly feel without fear of how the other person gonna take your words and twist them, to satisfy their own thoughts or needs or what have you.
I'm offended. You
Yeah,
offended me.
stuff like that. How do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about this times we're in right now?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a very sensitive time. Everybody's like super. I think I call it like hypersensitivity. Like everybody's just overly sensitive about everything. Like who can't call people men or women no more.
Yeah, man.
Like I'm them. You gotta use like other pronouns and I don't know. It's just weird. It's a little. I mean, for me, it's a little weird, a little bit. It's I guess just the times we're in. I don't know.
But you're actually a clean comedian. That's how you describe yourself.
Yeah.
Clean comedy.
Yeah, clean comedy. You do clean comedy.
Yeah. So like my thing is like I remember growing up, I used to watch comedy and different comedians, but it seems like a lot of comedians always did like they would just be cursing or
The
like
MFR.
talking about sex a lot. And so when I started doing comedy, I was like, yeah, let me just. I didn't really curse in real life anyway. This wasn't like really me. And I was like, so for one, just to be like who I am on stage, and then two, just to kind of, I think it also kind of, it's a little bit harder because like sometimes like the curse, it's funny. I'm not like putting anything down on people who curse or whatever, but it's like a lot of times people use that as the punchlines, and some of the stuff sounds funny when you say certain things, certain ways, whatever. But so it was kind of a creative challenge. It was just also being true to myself, and then two, just kind of trying to be like a little different from the from the overall mode that I like kind of grew up on, or whatever.
Like just saying your own pace.
Yeah.
Man, do you feel like it'd be a challenge to, like if you challenge other comedians who curse a lot, not to curse, do you feel like they're still going to be funny?
Yeah. And see, like even the shows I produce myself, I have people on, I do like no cursing. It's like I don't limit like the subject matter because I think you can talk about anything and still like be clean. Really, you can talk about anything. But so I kind of like I try to make sure people don't curse on my shows. But then a lot of times they're like, "Yo, like that was still good," whatever. And a lot of times they're a little nervous, like even like comedians who are like on TV and like did different things. But it's definitely a challenge for them because like they're so used to like kind of doing it one way. But I think you know, a lot of people can. Like they just like kind of do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, who is Tommy? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for somebody who might be watching this first time, don't know you, how would you describe yourself to somebody who don't know you? Who is Tommy for real?
I'm single, lonely. No, nah, I don't know. I'm myself. I let other people decide who I am for themselves. I think.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard. Like I think it's easier to describe somebody else than I think to describe
Do
yourself.
yeah.
We always I feel so like, I'm this and that. Like I don't want to be stuck in a box. But obviously, there's certain things that like kind of really stand out to people.
Mm-hmm. Where you from? Where you from?
DC. From DC.
Born and raised.
Southeast.
Yeah. You been to the motherland, Cameroon, Nigeria, Ghana, Africa, South Africa?
Yeah, I've been to the Cameroon of DC. I mean, Southeast.
What you mean about that, yo?
Now I'm going to leave that alone. I'm surrounded in here. I'm trying to make it out.
Don't get hurt. Okay. What is the first time, you realize, like, man, I'm funny. I'm about to pursue this as a career or something?
Actually, I always thought it was funny growing up. I never thought I'd be doing stand-up, though. Because I don't know. I've never been, like, a big talker. Like I'd be funny, like that's why I think I'm better like naturally, like I'm better like visually showing a joke. So I think it's like easier for me.
That's a big thing now with IG and everything.
Yeah, to like show something funny versus to like say something funny. Cause like I like with the old like falling on the banana peel. Like if you see somebody like slip or fall or whatever, like that's funny to look at.
Yeah.
But then like if you were like to tell it, hey man, this dude fell on the banana peel, blah, blah, blah. Like how you described it, they had that same like humor impact. Verbally as like as visually,
Right.
So,
man, like most people might see your how do they call them, skits?
Yeah.
Skits on online and stuff like that. For example, the Eric Kelly thing you just did. What Eric Kelly thing you did not too long ago. The video, which I was watching that today, was a little bit funny. I was like, he really went all out. But anyways, people could watch that and just think all you do is comedy. Let's go a little bit back to your uprise. You're an engineer. Speak a little bit about that. School, leaving that part and coming into comedy.
Nah, we gotta get serious, huh?
You're stuck in the podcast, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, so I think like two of my passions growing up was I don't know, like personally, I always loved entertaining people. So that was kind of the little thing I would actually create before podcasts even existed. I was creating podcasts at home. We would just like me and my boy would create like little we'll do impersonations of different like actors and comedians and have like a little talk show recorded on the computer. We didn't send it to nobody because I don't even know we had a dial-up internet then, but we would just do it on the computer and make up little like talk shows and stuff and just listen back to ourselves and we'd be laughing. But so I love that, and I also love technology. So like I was always really good at I like used to build computers and things like that growing up. And then that's why I was using I was like, I had these little, programs. I was making like little, like talk shows on the computer and everything. So that's why when I went to school, I wanted to do computer science, computer engineering. So technically, I had a dual double major and a double minor. So I did electrical and computer engineering, and then I had another major called engineering and public policy. I had a minor in business and another minor in drama. To kind of, because actually the school I went to, Carnegie Mellon University, is like one of the top schools for like engineering and performing arts. So I was like, I was like kind of the best of both worlds. Because I did want to go to MIT, but then it was like I think like a better fit for me there, for both sides. Then I went and got my MBA, like actually directly after college.
I'm telling you, bro.
And that was an interesting story. Like I didn't even apply to like grad school. I think it was like a month or two before school started. I was like, because I was gonna just do my own thing, and I was like, well, I kind of wanted to do an MBA because for the technical side, I was like, all the computer companies are ran, a business. So I was like, after doing like the engineering stuff in school, I was like, man, I really didn't want to be like the nuts and bolts guy, just sitting there and coding all day or whatever. It's kind of got like a little redundant to me. But I like creating ideas and like knowing how to do stuff. So like, let me like do the math. So I actually just went into like the school and like talked to the dean or like of the MBA program, and we had a conversation. I just walked in, cold walk in. I was like, hey, this is the the lead dude here, and they're like, yeah. So I had like a little spontaneous meeting, and then I was in. And so did that, and then right after, like I like, you know, as I was doing my MBA program, I wanted to I started like getting into acting more, and got like agents and stuff like that, and that's when I first got on The Wire on HBO. I was filming like out in Baltimore, and then that's kind of when I started like really. I just want like another outlet, so yeah, that's why I actually started doing stand up for the first time, to, you know, just to see, you know, kind of, yeah, just another creative outlet. And then, you know, I really liked it. I liked the challenge, because like I said, I didn't really consider myself like a funny talker, or like I didn't. Well, that wasn't my strength. Like I like one-on-one or whatever, but like in front of people, well, I didn't. You know, but like then but then like it was a fit, and I was like, oh snap! Like, and then there was something I could work on, and I knew I had something there. So that's kind of the beginnings of that.
Man, with all this education and, you know, doing the stand up, man,
expansive resume too. The
How
Wire
you
V.
How come you're single, man? Like,
have y'all met the women in DC? Have y'all been out to the park?
I don't know about the women in DC.
They just be standing around looking at you. They don't want you say hello. They give you the mean grill. Like.
The park, like the lounge or the club, the park.
Yeah, the park. Yeah,
you been in that joint?
Yeah, I've been to the park.
Is it like that?
I mean, I wasn't paying attention. But
what does it say? You know, let's focus on your comedian side. You know, so before we get in the movie and the commercial side, because your resume is expansive. Congratulations, by the way. But what does it take to be a comedian in your view? If somebody knows, like, dang, I'm trying to get in this joint. Instagram is popping right now. A lot of people making bag of comedy, or just, you know, creating a show like the Tommy Taylor show, like that airs on H2O and DC TV, MCPS TV, PG TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different types of comedians. I mean, like, I said, like, just, well, if anything, it's kind of just do it. One of the little quotes I really like is kind of like a business school quote, like Guy Kawasaki. He was real infamous for in the Macintosh. Mm-hmm. One of his like tenets are like, "Don't worry, be crappy," and like, and that was kind of his thing with the Apple computer. Like, if they had like waited or whatever for like the right time to take all the bugs out, like there would probably be no Apple today. Right. But it's kind of like they actually hit the market at the time where they just need to get something out, and actually that allowed them to spur. And like even now, you know, it's like they'll put a phone out, or whatever. It's not good, like not great, right? But then they give you like the little, you know, the little updates, and then like they fix it along the way. So they don't wait till it's perfect, but they get something out there like right away. So that's what I encourage. Like for comedy, whatever business, just get something out there, do something, right? Like go on stage, like create something on your computer, like on your phone, do something, and then keep building from there. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like the basic advice, just to and even for myself, a lot of times, sometimes you're like, man, you know, I don't know if I should do it, but just, you know, just do something.
What about
like,
fear? What about fear? Because you know, for me, fear might be that factor. I'm scared of.
Yeah, I mean,
the crowd,
but that's the thing. Like, don't be. I mean, what's there to fear? I mean, but I think we all get that. I know I get it sometimes. Like, you get a little tense, like, man, like, you know, whatever reason, like, I can't, like, you tell yourself you can't do something or whatever, but then you think like, spiritual dude as well. So like, it's like, you know, they say God's not the author of fear, and like that really resonates because like, you know, fear is, God didn't intend for us to be fearful, right? Like why are we afraid of anything? So like if God, that's not from God, like where's that from? It's not from a good place. It's not from positivity. It's not from the higher power, that higher energy. So I think just in that, it's like, man, like that wasn't meant for me. So like, why even succumb to it? So like, if you're succumbing to it, you succumb to like a darker force.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I think that's the one thing in itself. Just like, you know, you got to like kick that out the door. Like that's not my purpose, is to be fearful.
Right.
My purpose is to be great. You know, to just try to do it.
Man, my purpose to be great. You actually just been, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, you had gigs this weekend. You were saying, you know, it's been busy weekend. You've been at the DC Comedy Club?
Yeah, the DC Improv Comedy Club.
Yeah. You got like, is that like a regular people come out, you know, peep you out there?
Yeah, I'm there like every once in a while. I was there like all weekend. I think we did like 9 shows. Man. The main stage and the lounge, kind of like it was lit. It was a lit time.
There's been some dope ass come through there. Like big, you know.
Yeah. It's like the premier club in this area. So yeah, I always love performing there. I do a monthly show here every third Thursday. We do a show called Almost Ladies Night, which is like super lit. Like I got fellas, like come check the show out. Like it's
man, plug it in. You got one coming up on the 21st, right?
Yeah, we have one on the 21st. Like every third Thursday we do it. It's called Almost Ladies Night because it's really not for the ladies. So we want to think it's for the ladies, but it's not, because like women,
it's not marketing.
You can't give them too much, you know. So they take advantage. So it's almost, but it's a real cool show, real cool concept. We have like complimentary massages before the show. I got my boy at Hands of Motion mobile massages. They come through, do complimentary massage for the ladies. Then we got like shot girls, like for the fella. I mean, it's a whole. Then during the show, we have different comedians come in town, and then I create these little segments in between too. So we got like I've been making up songs on the spot. We got a thing called Tinder Live, which is like real popular, but it's a fun time. And like most of the shows are like 90% women. And like they bad, like some bad, and like we get them in a good mood. So that's what I'm telling. Like the fellas, y'all come through, y'all just got to come. You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is practice some basic lines like how are you? And like it's
finished.
Yeah, we'll finish it for you. You know what I'm saying? We put you in a position to win. So come on out, almost ladies night.
How you single? Thursday. This man's single by choice, man. It's part of the brand.
No, I don't know. Like that's weird. Like I'm trying to ask myself that too. Like why am I single? Like
we're gonna get to that, but you ever tell a joke and it just fell flat like crickets?
Yeah, I think we all had at some point. I think like especially like you. That's the cool thing about comedy. I think is like you never. I think it's probably like to me it's like one of the most like beautiful art forms because it's always changing, right? Like you're always in front of new people, a new audience, new environment. Like new microphone, new whatever it is, like everything is always new. So it's like if you're creating like new art every day, it's like you could tell like even if you have the same joke or like a picture, you had the same picture, it's gonna be the same, pretty much the same everywhere. But then like there's so many influences and like the fact society changes. So it's like say you do a joke about Bill Cosby, which like kills, but then now last month like something happened. So now like even just saying Bill Cosby turns people negatively. So now how do you like get that? Make that resonate back with the people. So I mean, there's so many different influences and factors, like how the people are. They may have a bad day, So like it's all about like that personal interaction. Even if you're in front of a large group or a small group, to kind of get them, to like feel like the art that you're creating. So like that's what I love about it, though. Like it's always a challenge. Yeah.
For that little kid out there, right, who wants to become a comedian, who wants to be the next Tommy the next youth, for example, how would you direct them? How would you advise? I mean, what would you advise them? Let's say they want to get into, what's that?
Filmmaking.
Yeah, filmmaking or comedy and stuff. How would you advise them to move? Let's say they really don't know who to talk to, who to link up with. Like, help them out.
I mean, I would say like number one, follow your passion, like whatever it is. I think that's important, just to, your passion / purpose, like if that's what you feel called to do, like do it. For me, like I think probably my major flaw, if I have one, is like networking. So like in any industry, like that's pivotal. Like even in the business side, like that's one thing I just don't like doing. I rather like create something, like build something and like let that speak. Like about, I don't know. For me, it's a little weird. It's just something I had to like constantly kind of like get over of like trying to, like, hey, like, you need somebody or like, trying to, cause I don't, like, for me, it's always been like, I don't want to like seem like I'm using somebody. So that's why like, I'd rather just create and like build, like do something, get to a point. And then we're like, if we collaborate, whatever. But, I know even like with people with me, like, yo, like, I really enjoy what you're doing. Can I like work with you somehow? Like whatever. I'm like, yeah, of course. And I think like, that's something I could be doing with other people or like even just building your networks. I mean, but that's the important thing, and I think a lot of times, especially as our black race, is one thing we don't do well enough. That like others do, is like just like collaborating and working together and like having that network. And this sometimes just like knowing people, like being around people, like communicating like what you do. Like if you can help them, they can help you. The kind of mutual thing, and so I think that's one thing I would say. Like really, number one, like obviously. Have perfect your craft and like be about your business, but that the art of networking I think is super critical and important, because I mean in the end of the day, like everything is about relationships.
Facts. Yeah.
So like like whether like as a business, being president, whatever, like everything's just like relationship based.
Yeah.
So I think that's critical.
Do you create talent shows?
Huh?
Do you create talent shows?
Talent shows?
Yeah, where different comedians could come to showcase their work to you, for example. And you kind of be, like a mentor to them.
No.
You plan on doing that?
No. I mean, like, well, the comedy community is like pretty. I mean, there's like plenty of like, they call it, like open mics and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, in a way, I mean, we like network and collaborate or whatever, and people. I mean, in an informal setting, that does happen, but it's not like I have like a talent show or anything like that.
Gotcha.
So,
How did you land in the Wire, and speak about that, how that propel you to different roles, and you've been on Veep, a bunch of other TV shows and movies since then. Die Hard 4, I believe. Yeah.
Actually, the Wire was a funny story. Like that's when I was doing my MBA program. I was trying to get like more into acting and like getting my agent and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw like some posting or whatever for or casting for The Wire, and I had to send like a headshot resume. But at the time, I really hadn't done much. I was like, I didn't really have anything. I was like, how do I get a headshot? So I was trying to do it quick. So I went down. Y'all from the area. I went to this Iverson Mall.
Yeah.
It's for those of you who may not know, that's in the Sudan of
Chill out, Mo.
it's in the desert of Maryland. It's a popular like mall in the hood here or whatever. But so I went there. They had like a little photo place. I was like, yo, let me just see if I can get a headshot. And like it's an Asian owned like photo place in there. So I was like, hey, can I get can y'all do headshots? And Leia was like, no headshot here. I was like, what? Y'all don't do headshots? Like, so I just got a camera. And then I was like, can y'all do a headshot? She's like, no. And then so I was like I just flipped what I said. I was like, can I get a picture of my head? She's like, okay, yes, we'll do that. Come. And I was like, yo, what just happened? Like, that was weird. So like, yeah, so I took some like little, portrait, little studio pictures or whatever. My head. Then I like took those pictures, sent them out. And then I got a call like I think like the next week or whatever to come out and like be on the show.
How many episodes were you on?
I don't know how many episodes I was on. I was in it for like 3 seasons because they shoot like sporadically. Well, not sporadically, but it's like stuff is incongruent. Mm-hmm. So they may shoot like one part of the scene here, which may be like towards the end, but then they'll shoot another. So it doesn't necessarily go in order. It just kind of depends on the production schedule.
Yeah,
but yeah, I was in it for about 3 seasons.
Your reel is people go check his reel out. This guy's been on a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah. Man, that's such a proposal, man.
This guy wants to jump all the way.
That's dude waiting for that.
That's what I'm kind of interested in, man. Like the proposal, dog. Like, man, how did you get that?
Before we get into that, speaking of, my bad.
Go ahead.
Just somebody want to check you out right now, movies or TV shows. What you've been in. You've been in Die Hard 4, The Wire.
Yeah, I was in The Wire, Veep, a show called How to Make It in America. I was on HBO also. I had a little small part in Die Hard 4. I think it was Live Free and Die Hard.
Yeah.
A couple of little things like I think it was a Step Up 2. A bunch of commercials. Toyota. What I did like Delta Airlines.
As long as you didn't know Eastern Motors commercial. It's like no shade to Eastern Motors, man, but them commercials, man, them just need some work. I'm just kidding.
Yo, how much is a commercial, dog? Like, how much do they pay you to shoot a commercial?
Man, you all in my business today, aren't you? Huh?
All up in your bag.
Hey, man, I'm trying to see where this money at, dog.
How you said to shoot a commercial?
Yeah, like how much do they pay you to star in one?
It depends on the contract. Like commercials are actually pretty lucrative. Like you can, like for one commercial, you could be like set for real. I mean, it's like people make millions, like a couple $100,000 to like a couple thousand or whatever. I mean, it just depends on like the commercial. And then like if you're in the union, then you get like residuals too. So like every time they air, you get checks. So I mean, it's like there's no like really concrete figure like you get this set amount, but it's different factors. But you can make, you can make like bank on like if you have one good commercial.
Yeah, you still have an agent?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. What's next for you as far as like movie or TV shows? What should we be looking out for?
Oh man,
the proposal.
Everything, man. I'm just trying to keep moving. I just want to keep doing like bigger projects and kind of get that household name recognition out there. But as much as I can do, I'm trying to be like Sam Jackson, just be in everything.
Yeah, man.
Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
why
Why
not?
not? Westbrook. The proposal on ABC.
Yeah. What
Bruh.
about it?
Man, was that real?
Yeah, it was real.
Y'all still together?
Was it like we were. It was a crazy show. It was a crazy concept, whatever. Yeah, we kind of took it like kind of backwards. Like, let's just like work on like being friends, you know, and really, because I literally just met you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so we, we're just taking it slow, just getting to know each other.
That's it.
Man,
Man, that's
what I
crazy,
got for
man.
you.
Like,
Season
you just-
2?
Hold on, you meet somebody pretty much, and they tell you, propose to this person. So you just got to go and say what you said.
I
Give them
feed
the
you
ring.
bacon.
Feed you bacon.
That's
I was
not what
like,
he
my
said.
man. That's what he said.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
not what he said. This man had you had that thing prepared or something, man. This man
Who
was
bought that ring though?
What was what was his name? The ring designer.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I know I'm having a mind blank right now, but yeah, he designed the rings for like the celebrities and stuff. So they had rings there.
Is there gonna be a season 2 for that?
I think so.
So why you know saying you say you are chronically womanless? What do you think? What do you think is the problem with you? Keyword with you.
Oh man. See, I don't think it's with me. I don't know. I think that's a good question. I think it's hard. See, I had this debate a lot with like my female friends. Like, I think it's hard in this area for like guys to meet black women. I was gonna say that
In the DMV?
in the DMV. I
It's
think
hard.
I think women in the DMV, have a different. So all right, I feel like as a man in this area, you can't really go out even just to like women are in the I don't know what is about this environment. Cause I remember like growing up, people like, hey, like women in DC are so stuck up. And I'm not trying to put women down or anything like that, but I do think they have a different air up here. After I like kind of realized some things, like, cause people are like, women in DC are stuck up. I was like, no, they just, you guys approach them differently or whatever. And then like, I remember the first time I went to Atlanta, I went out to some little party or whatever, and like it was just so different. Like the women, they were like bad, like, and then they were like doctors and lawyers, and they come like, hey, how are you? I was like, who, me? Like, y'all talking to me? Just making like conversation. I was like, yo, like, what is going on? Like, it was just a whole different vibe. And I was like, yo, like they were wanting to talk to you, and like you come to like, and I was like, yo, people are right. Like women are kind of different, and I started seeing like here, it's like you go out, and like sometimes like I'm a friendly person. It's like if I see somebody, they my guy comes like, hi, how you doing? I've been like a lot of times women won't even speak. And I've like seen some women in the club, women I know, and like I'll go up and like, hey, how you doing? And I remember I was walking up to one girl, and I just saw that the scowl come on her face. I was like, I kind of like, oh snap, should I keep going? And I was like, but no, I was like, hey. And then I went and talked, like, oh hey, how you doing, Tommy? Blah blah blah. And I was like, man, what if I was just a regular dude, just wanted to say hi or whatever,
Right.
approach her? Like I would have been like, you gotta have confidence to steal. But like, it's weird. Like sometimes I remember one night I was like, look, I just want to go out and see if I can make a friend. Well, I just want to go out I'm by myself. I want to go make a friend in DC. Just like not for like any purpose, but just like meet somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very difficult because I was like by myself, and I was like, and it was like really hard just to like just to have any kind of communication. And then like it's weird. Like I remember one time we met some girls out, and we were like, yo, like a lot of times even like you may have a conversation, like girls may expect something from you. And sometimes you just want to just have a conversation with somebody, just as a person. Mm-hmm. Like we're two humans. Like we're both here. You stand next to me. Let me speak to you.
Right.
And like, but it I feel like it is and I know there are different, both two sides of the story. But and like a lot of times, maybe like guys approach women differently here. So they're more guarded. But
Are you actively looking though?
Huh?
Are you actively looking?
I wouldn't say like actively. Like I'm always I'm open to the.
One of my men just told me you gotta buy a table, at the club, and just invite them on. Like, I come on through. That's gonna ease that burden.
Yeah, but see, that's superficial. It's like, why you gotta buy a table, buy bottles just to like stunt, and I think that's the problem in the black community right now. Like we got to stunt and all this other stuff. Whereas you go to a white club, like white dudes don't gotta be buying no tables and bottles to like meet a woman.
Facts.
They just gotta be like, hey, how are you today? Yeah, I'm going great. How are you? Like it's such an easier process, and then that leads to so many other things I think which are problematic because then you're like, men are, don't really have this lifestyle, and they're like trying to perpetuate this like false lifestyle, like I'm bald and this and that, which like really doesn't mean anything. That's not who you are. That's not your character.
Let me put you on the spot though. You know what I'm saying? Camera right there.
Okay.
Tommy Jr. right now. What exactly you looking for in a lady? There's some ladies watching right now. What are you looking for?
There's a lot of ladies watching.
Well, shoot, I'm on Tinder. I'm on Bumble. I got a Costco membership. Where y'all? Well, how should I set my radius? I'm gonna set my radius to
10 miles.
Yeah. What was your question?
What exactly are you looking for in a lady?
Just the basics, really. I think there's nothing like in particular. I think like number one. I mean, you are like attracted from looks. Someone who just meets your like, who's attractive to you. But just the basics. I think personally, well, I think people should like pick 3 to 4 core characteristics that they need from somebody that you have to have. Just 3 to 4, and that's it. And I think if you pick those like things that are really fundamental to you, like what you really need or want in someone, and then like all the other stuff is negotiable. So just 3 to 4 basic, and I think if you pick these right, it eliminates most people you probably dated.
What'll be yours?
Huh?
What'll be your 3
I
to 4
can't put all
things?
my business out there like that. Gotta keep some mystery. Gotta keep a little mystery. But I'll tell you like 1 or 2. Like 1 is a woman who has a passion. Who's like passionate about something in life. Like not more like superficial, but like really like passionate. Has like a certain passion that she's going after in life. So that's 1. And like 2 obviously is like a relationship with God. It's some form of fashion, like some a real relationship with them.
Yeah.
So
Man.
I'll keep my other 2.
And you actually saving yourself too,
Yeah, actually I am.
Yeah. I'm only saying that because he wasn't a proposal to the show, so yeah.
Saving yourself?
Yeah.
As in no sex, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
No
okay.
sex.
That's
Interesting.
interesting. What about me now, bro? I am not actively looking.
Why not?
Yeah, man, it's about Tommy right now.
Yeah, let's switch it up. We're gonna tag team you now. What are your 2
5 foot,
non-negotiables? Huh?
brown skin. Actually, Doc. The Doc got the sweet daddy juice,
Is it brown or is it dark? So you confuse yourself right now, brother.
Dark. That's your shirt. Like your shirt.
Oh,
Dark.
you want a crispy black? Huh? All right, that's
Like
what's
your
up.
toes burnt. Hey man, chill out, man. Get off me. No, but see now I'm on distracted. You performing tonight?
Huh?
performing
No,
tonight?
that's not him. I'm chilling tonight.
Yeah. All right.
Busy week.
What's chilling for you?
Probably working. I'm always working on something to like kind of work a couple things.
Are you working in any one of your degrees, like MBA
Yeah,
or
this is
anything, or
like-
is comedy just full time for you right now?
Yeah, I mean mainly it's comedy. Comedy acting, and then my production company.
Yeah.
But so like I produce actually some science videos as well for
Science
some
videos?
national organizations. So I get to like tap into some of my like STEM side with that and kind of communicating science to like a broader audience.
How important is STEM in our society today?
Oh man, it's critical, especially for like
Minority.
little black kids.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the reasons why kind of going back to like not cursing and stuff like that is I think media plays such a big role in our development. Like we're so influenced by it, whether we like realize it or not. It's so impactful. So like your people's lives and stuff are shaped off of what they see. Even and going to as far as like race relations, like white people sometimes like we live in a white world. So like most of the time the images they see of black people are what they see on TV. So either athletes or like drug dealers, whatever they see on television. So it's kind of they're skewed by those things. So having like little black boys and girls seeing like positive images of them and like seeing people do stuff even in science and STEM like that you can create like different things. Like you don't like it was weird. I go to like sometimes I do like little talks at schools and like every like young black kid that I saw like wanted to be a rapper. I like but then a musician, but they don't know how to make music. But that's all they want because that's all they really see.
Right.
But like you can do so many other things. I mean, and not to say that's bad, but it's like, are we just gonna have a generation of rappers? That's all we're gonna have, a whole generation of just the rappers. I mean,
Mumble rappers.
yeah, and like so, I mean, there's so many other things, but I think having them see that stuff, like even with the shoes, like you know, the shoe culture is like huge in like the black community, right? So, but the kids realize like one of the biggest shoes is like the Yeezys, Adidas. That's the first time Adidas like actually implemented technology and science in their shoe. They teamed up with BASF, this chemical company, and created a new polymer, which is the Boost. They call it the Yeezy Boost. So like the Boost, not a lot of sneakerheads don't even know that. And like so like now like you love sneakers, like you could actually be a scientist making shoes. You know, so like just thinking about even that little notion, it's like, wow, okay, well now I want to be a scientist or whatever. Like just planting these little seeds, but and then plus like the world's going to be run by technology, so we have to be in it. We have to be players that have a seat at the table. What is like, you know, the computers like running these programs, whatever. I mean, yeah, we're got artificial intelligence. I mean, like, the world is all technology driven, so we have to have a seat at it. We just can't be like, you know, adapters or users of it. We have to be creators.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Nguyen Human. Was it?
Yeah,
Nguyen Human and Dr. Curry.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of have something similar with them. One with the STEM, and then two Southeast, because Nguyen Human is from Southeast too. And Watch was on the show. You know, I had asked her this question about a lot of people. Their notion of Southeast is a little different. It's a little, you know, there's violence, there's darkness. Paint a picture of Southeast. Like if they ask you how is Southeast, what would you say?
Southeast is a place in DC. I don't know. I mean, it does get a bad rap. I mean, there's some. I mean, but that's everywhere. Like there are good parts and bad parts. I think because it's been predominantly black. You know, it's that stigma that's attached to it. But then, like literally, actually, more crime happens in robberies and thefts happen in like Northwest, like or like the upscale white communities.
That's true, yeah.
Than in the Southeast. So like, but it's like again, it's the narrative that's put on there. And like I always like the news be killing me though, because sometimes you watch news like there was a whatever happened and there was a car chase and there was a robbery in Southeast and they ended, but I was like, they just drove through Southeast. They were there in Maryland somewhere now. Like, well, they always make sure they say Southeast in there. Like, there's two, shooters were in Southeast, but like now they're in Hyattsville. Like, I don't, like how, like why you just had to say Southeast? But I think it's been historically kind of overlooked. But then you kind of look at like the history of DC. Like, I love history and stuff, but like Southeast used to be like the upper white side. Anacostia was like where the elite white people lived, and Georgetown was where all the poor black people. That was like the original slave port in D.C. And then through Act of Congress, they kind of swapped it out because they wanted like the white people to be more down there. If you notice, like Georgetown's the only place in D.C. that doesn't have a subway system. You know, because they didn't want just anybody being able to come back in there.
Right.
But
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So I mean, there's so many things, but it's and like Capitol Hill, that's in Southeast. You know, that's a very affluent. But they. You know, it's kind of then they separate, but it's, I mean, the same thing that goes on in history, like in with black people, it's like they always try to segment us. So like now, even though like Capitol Hill, nice, like affluent, whatever, and that's in Southeast, but then they separate. Now they say like it's then they got like you got Capitol Hill, then you have across the river.
Yeah,
that's a whole big thing, like across the river. Oh, you're going to cross the river, but it's just like a block or two down. Right. You're still the same area. But it's like they want to, it's always about division, separating us, and trying to make, we're. But and then it's there are great parts in Southeast, like beautiful homes, like yards. You wouldn't even realize you're in DC. Quiet communities, like great neighbors and stuff. So, I would say like don't be that's where I grew up. So like I have love for it, and it's don't be tied to the notion of what you hear. Yeah. Fake news is horrible. It's a horrible place.
I want to get your reaction to this statement, your thoughts to this statement. Relating to your career, your production company. A lot of people securing a bag off Instagram right now. A lot of comedians coming up. In today's entertainment game, this is a statement: you have to lose your integrity to make it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's false. Man, there's so many different ways you can make it. Now, especially with like with the social media, all those other things. I think there might be some truth to it. Like there are a lot of pressures to like do different things. which may not be what you intended to do. But I always think there's a place for people who who want to do it, quote unquote, the right way or whatever, or like true to themselves. Yeah, I mean, but I think there's just so many different avenues now to like make money. You're not necessarily stuck at like doing it one way or like following one, one paradigm or one road.
Top 5 comics of all time.
I don't really, actually, it's hard for me because I don't, I enjoy like everybody to some degree. Like I think there's like, as I do stand up and like do it more, I really appreciate like anyone who gets on stage, because it's such a, like I said, it's such a like a delicate art form. So many nuances. Like even somebody like, honestly, there's a lot of comedians I just don't get. Like I don't get a sense of humor, and maybe it's just me. But I was like, how they? But I
Like
appreciate that. I appreciate what they do.
Like who? Give me an example.
I'm not gonna call nobody out.
Who you influenced by? Would you say? If you
Actually, my influences, were like Bill Cosby. Grew up like watching the Cosby Show. That was always like hilarious to me. Even now, like Eddie Murphy.
Who's killing it right now in the game? Like in the entertainment comedy world right now.
Yeah, I love like Tony Rock. That's one of my dudes. Like amazing stand-up comedian. The whole Rock family is like pretty dope. There's so many people I love, like Jim Gaffigan. I remember like listening to him in college, but how he would just take like little random things like cake. Just take cake and like go on like, and just, you rolling just about like cake. Well, cake's unhealthy. Then you got pancakes, or you can't eat cake for breakfast, but then you can have fried cake. Pancakes. I mean, he just takes little nuances and stuff, and I think there's something to learn from a lot of comedians. But I mean, I know my mom used to love Miles Mabley. I love like the Three Stooges. Growing up, like the physical comedy. And then I think there's so many different like forms of comedy. It's kind of hard, and it's kind of weird. Like, I rarely listen unless I'm like in the clubs with people. I mean, because I'm always like performing. I try not to listen to a lot of the stand up like specials and stuff. Interestingly enough, just I think like after I started doing stand up, like I stopped watching it because I felt like it was influencing me. Because I would try to like people that you like, you in some certain fashion, like you would try like to mimic them or like be like them. And I was like, I don't want to like try to like sound like anybody. Let me just try to like find my voice. Yeah. So I really actually stopped listening to really watching a lot of the stuff. Unless I'm just there with them or whatever. But yeah, I mean I appreciate like really. I mean, yeah, most people who step on the stage, because it's such a hard thing to do. Like at the end of the day.
I hear that.
What advice would you have? What advice do you have for young folks following their passion?
Just to do it. Like don't like what we said. Kind of just piggyback on what we were talking about earlier. Is follow your heart, like follow your passion, network, and like don't be afraid. Just get out there and like and do it. Like grow.
What's success to you?
Huh?
What's success to you?
Success to me is being content, right? I think a lot of times people being content but not complacent, right? I think that's successful. Whereas you're I think if you're like following your purpose, your passion, like you on your road, like but there's a hunger. I think a lot of us have like to get to X, Y, and Z, right? But then I think, and I know I was doing this early on. I was like I created like my little sketch comedy show, Tom Taylor show, and this and that. And I was always working, always doing this, and like trying to perform, do so many different things. And like, I felt like, and then I was missing out on things, just missing out on life. Like some things I would just like pass up. Like I've had to go out of town. Like I wouldn't really like go around because I want to get back to do the shoot or whatever. And it was kind of draining. But then at the end of the day, I was like, man, like this stuff is always here. But then I missed out on these moments. So like really taking time to appreciate like your journey, like and no matter what like point you're at. I think in one of Drake's songs, he did what he say like basically talking about like when he was like dreaming about where he is now, like now he dreams about like where he used to be, But it's always a kind of like the grass is greener thing. So like really appreciating your journey is one thing I like preach and try to practice. Just for the fact that like there's something to appreciate. Like if you unemployed right now, you don't got the job, appreciate that, right? Like I mean, you have ample time. Like make the best of your time while you're on your job. So don't be stressing out and like, I mean, learn a language, like travel or like go somewhere like you don't have to do nothing or whatever. I mean, whatever it is, like take that time, like use that free time you have. But then when people get jobs, like man, I don't have time to do anything. So now you don't got no time. Yeah. You can't spend time with your family. You can't just sit out and write or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Enjoy that time. Yeah, so I mean, I think success is like being content but not complacent. So like even now, it's like have certain successes and this and that. Like I want to keep going, but I'm not so singularly focused. I'm not preventing myself from enjoying the time I have now. To enjoy like doing the shows I'm doing, or if it's from like 10 people, I'm gonna enjoy that and connect and like being able to do different things and traveling, all these different things. But like making sure I take time for me and like just to be in a good space.
Right.
Yeah.
How can people connect with you?
Everywhere. I'm on social Instagram, Tommy Taylor Jr.
Tinder.
Yeah, Tinder. Yeah, all that stuff. Facebook. I'm around. My website, TommyTaylorJr.com. Everything's Tommy Taylor Jr. So you can find me by a Google search or something.
I'm sure you'll pop up real quick though. What self-made billionaire or millionaire? What's that about?
Oh, I don't know. I just thought it was creative.
It is creative.
But I mean, I'm doing pretty well now. But I also think like it's a mindset that you had to put yourself in of like of being like that baller, whatever that you want to be, like dripping on people, whatever. And even if like you're not all fully there or whatever, but like having that mindset, because you are like if you you are what you value yourself as, and so I think that's important. Yeah. Even I think in their approach, like like we were talking about women, like if you value yourself as like, the dude who, because most of the time, like I mean, I have more money than people buying all these bottles, but I'm not going to just buy bottles for whatever. But it's like, if you had that mentality, that mindset, that energy, I think people are going to like receive that anyway, right? And you don't have to like, stunt or like fake, and then you got to go and like Uber pool back to your house.
Uber pool. Hey man, funny as fuck. Uber pool, not just Uber pool, bro. Hey, listen, man. If you enjoy what you listen, please hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. He is an engineer, comedian, producer, self-made millionaire.
Yeah, international ladies, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Bacon enthusiast, Tommy Taylor Jr. Appreciate you coming through kicking with us, bro.
Hey, appreciate you having me, man.
Man. Yeah, pull up to Almost Ladies Night.
Yeah, come to Almost Ladies. Hey, man, we're gonna have some dark-skinned women there for you, brother. Come on through.
Just get them right, laughing.
I'm going to darkskin.com. I'm going to go individually pick like 5 of them out just for you. You're going to have 5 shades of black.
Under 5'5", please.
You got 5 shades of black.
Hey, put some Timbs on, man. Get you a couple inches up on yourself, bro.
I said under 5'5". Hey man, listen.
You gotta if you think you 6 feet, brother, you 6 feet. You got to visualize you 6 feet on the inside.
I take it. I'm trying to wrap this up so I don't get roasted on this jump, man. Hey, listen.
Yeah, he got the little pad on him right here.
Hey, chill.
I wasn't gonna call you out, but since you, he said, "Hey, you got a whole little pillow. Come on, dog." Then you is short. Okay.
Hey man, this is Stuck in the Middle podcast.
We out.
Where we going? I'm not done.
I got the power, your mic. I got the power right here, your mic. Hey man, Tommy Taylor in the building, man. Go watch The Wire, Veep, all that good stuff. Pull up to Almost Ladies Night, and yeah, man, appreciate you coming through, bro.
Thanks for. Is my mic back on?
Yeah. Hey man, I'm gonna cut your mic second. Thanks for coming through, bro.
Fellas. Thanks for
Yes,
having me.
sir. It's Stuck in the Podcast.
Shout out to Perfect Office Solutions.
Yeah. That's yeah. You remember that?
Yeah.
Hey man, Perfect Office Solution, our sponsor. They are. It's Stuck in the Podcast,
And we out.
Yes, sir.